Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Voris. In 2017, when the Vatican Secretary of State endorsed and approved an article being published in a well-read church journal attacking church militant for somehow aligning with evangelicals here in the United States to establish a theocracy in America, was total garbage. However, we must give a tip of the hat to the Marxists in Rome, namely Father Anthony Spadaro, who wrote the laughable hit piece entitled Evangelical Fundamentalism and Catholic Integralism, a surprising ecumenism, in which he labeled the alleged cooperation between church militant, yes, he called us out by name twice actually, and evangelicals. That pairing, he called it, quote, an ecumenism of hate, his words. Well, at the time, no such cooperation existed, certainly not in any formal way. So we did wonder, what the heck is he talking about? But back to that tip of the hat. That article and proceeding events in the culture and politics made us look in the mirror and ask, why aren't we working with these folks who are, one, certainly more patriotic than the average Catholic, and two, more Catholic than the average Catholic, including many clergy and the hierarchy? Spadaro's stupid assessment actually provided us a blueprint to begin moving down the road and linking arms where possible with like-minded U.S. patriots of goodwill. Kind of a lemon's lemonade thing going on here. So back when we didn't have our official ecumenism of hate, well, now we do. An ecumenism of hate toward the destruction of America by domestic enemies, namely the religious left, including the U.S. Bishops' Conference and their Saul Alinsky-inspired perverse social justice narrative. The same one that trained none other than Barack Obama as a community organizer, even paid for him with Catholic money in Chicago way back when, a point he did not fail to raise during that scandalous speech at Notre Dame's commencement in May 2009.
And at the time, Cardinal Joseph Bernardin was the Archbishop of Chicago. And for those of you too young to have known him or known of him, he was a kind and good and wise man, a saintly man. I can still remember him speaking at one of the first organizing meetings I attended on the South Side.
Ever since Saul Alinsky penetrated the church through his labor union dealings in Chicago, stupid and ignorant, not to mention malevolent bishops have adopted his false narrative. In 1940, Alinsky partnered with Catholic Bishop Bernard James Scheel, the Chicago Sun-Times, and department store owner Marshall Field to found the Industrial Areas Foundation, the IAF, a national community organizing network. Notice that partnership, by the way, media, corporate America, and religion. From then, it was off to the races. Alinsky was all about undermining America, which is why Obama and Hillary were enthralled with him, but so too was the U.S. hierarchy. Any narrative that came out of that ideology, they swallowed up like cotton candy at the county fair. So as Alinsky's disciples flowed out into the ranks of the Democratic machinery, many Catholic clergy simply followed suit. Even as the public narrative changed somewhat to be a care for the poor, a kind of softer, gentler presentation of the whole social justice movement, the bishops followed suit, essentially baptizing it for the average Catholic in the pew. Soon, care for the poor became the greatest commandment, and one that would begin to reap billions for the hierarchy, right down to today. They're still filling their coffers as you're watching this. And soon, the Democrats are transforming into America Last Marxists and working hand in glove with their partners in robes in the Catholic Bishops' Conference and the rest of the still then developing religious left, which is now a pretty sizable number. They're now nearly indistinguishable, the bishops and the Democrats, the commie Democrats, pushing the same agenda, illegal immigration, environmental alarmism, and a bunch of other stuff. So Church Militant and our fellow Deposit of Faith Coalition members are now going to build on the success of our first press event on illegal immigration that we held in D.C. in July, and we're holding another one, this time in Baltimore, while the bishops are holding their annual meeting. We're going to be right across the street from them, with the topic being challenging the climate claims of the left. We've attached the press release going out to dozens of politically conservative media outlets for your viewing pleasure. You've got to see what goes on behind the scenes. And here's a very important point to note, and the very thing the bishops cannot control. These media outlets, as well as the majority of speakers, are not Catholic. The bishops cannot blackmail or threaten them for their stories on how they are undermining the republic. Notice the 25 million media impressions from our D.C. press event on illegal immigration. Take good note of this. Not one Catholic media outlet covered it. Not one. And you know why. The hierarchy's control over the Catholic media world has been perhaps one of the most frustrating things Church Militant has ever had to encounter. And believe me, that's saying a lot. They simply refuse to tell a story the bishops don't like. They're owned, bought, and paid for by the USCCB. They're not to be believed. But mostly Protestant, or at least men of goodwill political types, well, they have zero allegiance to the bishops, and they can report anything they deem newsworthy in their own respective journalistic realms. They just need to know, which is the entire point of this press conference strategy Church Militant and the Deposit of Faith Coalition have developed. Simply do an end run around the wall of lies and protection the bishops have constructed for themselves, and let non-Catholic media, who have much more integrity than their Catholic counterparts, let them tell the story. It's little else than blitzing the bishops, plain and simple, at their vulnerable flank. For example, the empire of lies the bishops add to and profit from regarding supposed environmental damage owing to man. This communist Democrat talking point, repeated ad nauseum by Catholic clergy, is undermining the republic by destroying our energy independence. That's just one example of what's happening from it. Americans at least instinctively know this when they go fill up. Used to be $1.80, now it's $3.80. But the bishops and commie Democrat elites, well, they don't care about that because someone else, you, pay for their gas and their food and their housing and their insurance and. So to expose all of this and the role of the religious left, our strategy is to just ignore Catholic media like they ignore truth, and instead enlist the help of non-Catholic media who actually care about truth but just need some help connecting the dots. That's what this press conference in Baltimore is all about, regarding the lies that have been shoveled at us by the bishops and the Democrats and the major media, a multi-headed Leviathan. So we're asking you, please, to pitch in here and donate and help keep the ball rolling and the momentum going. Remember, they have a 100-year jump on us, and nothing is going to be fixed overnight. Not possible. There is no silver bullet or magic wand here. It's just roll up your sleeves, hard work, and continual pounding and being more relentless than they are. Events like this take tens of thousands of dollars to put on. The personnel, renting the space, the place, the travel, the equipment, and so forth. They're gigantic efforts that at the end of the day, you all need to take the bow for. You're the real heroes in this. We just go out and do the grunt work. It's a lot of grunt work, but we can't do it without you. Without you and your determination and donations, these things just can't happen, period. So please click on that donate button and make your voice heard in support of linking arms with others of goodwill who are every bit as concerned about the future and their children as you are, and they should be. Thank you in advance. God love you. I'm Michael Voris.